Hi all, Chad here, Adventure 101, with part 5 of my 1988 Toyota 4Runner driver's side quarter panel and rust repair. In this video I finished up all metalwork and prepped the driver's side quarter panel for body filler. Alright guys, so we've got it panel tacked in. We're going to start tacking in the wheel well now and do any trimming we have to do on it. I still have to do the welds along this bottom seam, but I'm not going to do those until I have this end mounted in where I want it. This end I did it, I didn't really mean to. I was thinking I should have just left it screwed, but whatever, it's in now. I can work this one into place the way we want it. So we'll start tack welding this well all the way in, working our way right from the front to the back. And then we can start, once we get it tacked welded in, we can then start working on the inner well and close this thing right up. And then we're gonna weld this thing right out, which is gonna take a lot of time. So probably won't do a ton of video on that. And then we will sand it, grind it, whatever, and then the site can be ready for filler work. But we'll start on the other side first. All right, here's a quick peek where we're at so far. Here's this going up. Yeah, we're just to the corner here now. Keep going, work our way all the way around. Slow and steady. All right guys, so I've done probably about, I'm gonna say about 50% of the tacking now is probably done. At this point, I like to grind it all down flat, so that's all just basically knocked right down, and then I can see all the spots that I got to get in between. If not, I just find it gets a little bit tough to see exactly where you want to hit it. So I'll knock it down a bit. It won't be fully knocked down, and then I can then go in back in and tack in all the rest of it I'm missing, and then do one more grind on it, and then it should be ready for filler. There's not much warping at all. I'm not even noticing any warping right now, so I should be good bottom line wise as long as I keep the heat down, keep spreading my welds out and my grinding out, and then we'll be ready to do a little bit of filler, and then eventually the Raptor liner that we will be on. So now to the fun and tedious part of grinding. Here we go. This is going to be a while. Let's take it off. All right, guys, so just went over a little bit with the flap disc. I still have a lot more to do, but I thought I'd just show you what I'm aiming for. So in this area here, this is a butt weld. So this is all really good. There's a little hole right there, so now I can see it. I can now tack that in and it can be grinded. And then if you come down here, this is all lap weld and this is all just butt welded. So you can see there's a lot of little holes in between each of these. Still has to be filled. So I got to grind it real slow not to warp anything, and then I have to tack it really slow not to warp anything, but we'll just keep going at it and get it done before we know it. All right, guys, so I'm just now continuing to weld out this wheel well. I just wanted to point out I'm trying a different helmet today. It's a Yes Welder helmet I picked off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. My normal helmet is a Miller. I do like the helmet. I find that because I have so much light in here, it doesn't let me set it so that when I'm not welding, that it's light enough. I have a lot of overhead lights in here that are quite bright. So trying this one out to see if it makes a difference. Just when I'm getting these tight spots where I really want to try to make sure I'm getting between everything and not missing a spot, I seem to be having some visual issues. So I'm trying to see if this will help, because this one area is set a little differently, and let you know how it works out. We're gonna get back to welding this up and putting in some hours, because this is gonna be a while, and then I'll be grinding it all again. Alright, so my first impressions of this helmet actually is really good. It's way more comfortable. My Miller is an older style, so it doesn't have, as much adjustability on the straps. But the level of adjustment on the actual shading in is way better, and I've just started playing with this. For my Miller helmet, which is probably around 600 Canadian, I think I was under $100 for this one. I might have been just over 100 Canadian on this one, but totally worth it. This is actually a really nice helmet to use. I mean, if I was a professional welder welding every day, would I go for this? I don't know. I probably would spend a lot more than $600 though too. If I was wearing one every single day, I'd want something top of the line. But for what I do, I honestly, for most hobbyists, this would be the choice I would do over spending $600 for a helmet. My Miller isn't, the housing isn't a Miller anymore. The housing is actually a Lincoln. One of my staff for my regular job ran over it with a forklift. It did not damage the screen or anything. It just cracked the actual housing, the back corner of it he caught, and broke the strap. So I just fitted into a old Lincoln helmet I had. So that's probably why it's not as comfortable either. But for the shading and adjustability, there's way more in this than I have on my Miller. So just a heads up, if you're looking for a good helmet, quite honestly, I think it's a really good looking helmet too, but that's why I picked this particular one. I would definitely check out Yes Welder for that. And I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form for Yes Welder. I bought my own helmet. If they want to send me stuff to review, I'd be totally happy with that, but I don't get the views or follows or anything for that kind of stuff. So I buy everything you see on this channel. I do not get anything sent to me. So, but I would highly recommend this helmet. From, I mean, longevity, I'm gonna have to see, but I mean, again, for as much welding as I do, for the amount of time I'm welding, obviously this is a bigger project, so we'll see how it handles. I'll probably use this one now for the rest of it, just to try it out, but I highly recommend checking out a Yes Welder helmet. All right, so I'm just taking a break from welding. I've got to build the inner tub face of it, so I've started with a couple pieces of cardboard taped together, roughly 38 inches long. I'm just going to trace the inside, the back side of this just roughly. I'm going to cut just on the outside of it so that I can start fitting it inside where I want it to sit, and then I'll cut it down to actually do the actual piece that's going to go in place. But we'll just start with a rough cut, a rough trace. It's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be pretty. From here I can then at least get an idea without having to try to put it inside something and folding it, because it won't fit anyway. So this will just be a rough marking. Scissors, we'll just cut. This on those lines. So did some more cutting, trimming, got it sitting in there where I want it. I think that's gonna look good, work well. Let me know what you think in the comments. The 40 should look real nice in that opening. Okay, so I've laid my template down on my piece of sheet metal, trace it out, we remove the template. We're gonna keep the template because it may be really close for the other side too. Hopefully I'm keeping all my templates just for that reason. That's why I marked driver's side on them, so then I know I've used it. For the other side if it works. I do want this to be a nice tight fit on this part, so I am going to try to cut it a little bit bigger just to try to make my life easier. On this end, I know I was a little bit short, so I'm going to cut outside of my Sharpie line, just on this end piece here, just right in this corner. Here for that bolt hole or 3-bolt hole, and then we can test it and then make any modifications we have to. We'll have to do some. I'm sure there's going to be some slight trimming and definitely some grinding of it to get it where we want it. But so far we're pretty good. See how bad we made it. Too bad. I'm definitely gonna do more around that bolt hole to get up there. Guys, so the inner piece of the tub is now installed. Well, with magnets, being held with magnets, all trimmed and grinded out, so it fits good. It's gonna look good with 40s in there. So I'm gonna start welding that one in and continue on from there. But that'll pretty much, I think, wrap up this video. Next video I believe I'm going to do is body filler on this. I want to fill it all in and get it prepped and primed out and whatnot, so we can then move on to completely doing the other side. Gives me a break from doing the welding and grinding, like I said, and that's where we're at. So stay tuned, like, follow, subscribe, share if you like the content. It really helps the channel, and have a great day, guys.